We here with the reactions. You feel me? Like, comment, share, subscribe, download, all that shit, man. Got a Uber slash Lyft driver, man. You can make 200,000 a year. This nigga made 200,000 a year, man. We got to see this shit right here, bro. I'm not even gonna lie, cause I'm about to be a Uber driver, Lyft type shit. You know. Uh,
What
boom,
makes
boom.
this guy
Boom,
so
turn.
phenomenal? What makes this
Look,
guy such a good driver?
what dog
First, I
talking
want
about?
to, when I first heard about you, you was on the Rideshare Guys channel, in the interview, and pretty much, how much money have you grossed? I guess these past 3 years, driving on average.
Let's talk about the last 5 years in
Oh,
2019.
five.
Think
Okay.
of
5 years.
it. Yeah, okay. When I was driving full time, it's over $1 million already for sure.
Ooh.
You say over $1 million?
Average is a two hundred
Hold
thousand
on.
dollars a year. You know what's not
Nigga
like
made
a lot
two
of people
hundred
doesn't
thousand
believe there's
dollars
no
a
the guys
year
are
for
full of
5
shit. I don't
years.
have
Two,
like
four,
I'm
six,
not gonna
18, bro.
discuss the much my personal life, like a
Mhm.
financial life, because Americans don't talk about that about
Right,
money
right.
and financial. I mean, but at at right now I'm okay right now. Like I don't need to work out those hours, but I keep on me. I
Yeah.
keep on. I have like a 5 years old son. I want to make him successful in the life too.
Mm.
Uh,
5 year old son.
like average, like
And he
every year
been
is over
Ubering
two
for
hundred
5
thousand.
years.
Okay.
Every year. I knew I could do that because I was like I said, I was driving part time. I was making over 40,000. Say, oh, if I do Fox that full time, I'm gonna do more. And so
Hold on, hold on. Let me cut you off. Right there. That way you can. And please excuse me because I may cut you off from time to time. You said something that's interesting and something that's valuable. You knew that you could make 200,000. What? How did you know? Like, what was it about it? Your
Yeah, how
market,
did
or
you
was it
know?
about your
Let me know.
mindset, yourself? How did you know that you could hit 200,000?
you know, it's not easy. You have to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work like how many? 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. I think my highest salary I did like as a hotel was 100, 124, 132, something like that. And Uber, I knew was making more. Like I say, I met a couple guys. Who was my mentor. They
Yeah.
was telling me, oh, you make. They will show me how much they were making.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of these guys say, Rafael, is it like in your show you say anyone can do that. You just have to be consistent.
Right.
You can
Right.
do that, and
Y'all
have to
doing the
know
math, my nigga Ronnie
where
Spears.
you drive and be smart. And the first year full time in 2019, I don't think I reached a 200 between Uber and Lyft,
Okay.
between both. And in 2020, like the pandemic came, and I was afraid to work because all this going on the virus. And saying, what?
Yeah.
I have to work. I'm gonna go.
I had to work. He like,
I'm gonna
fuck
go
it.
in a play for God. I said I have to be working. Uh, like I was thanks God I never got the virus. Never, never got sick.
Okay.
And people say, how do you know you never got the virus? Because if I got the virus, I have my stepmom. She's a 60. I was always was worried about her. She lives with us. She lives with
Okay.
me, and for sure she's gonna get sick. Like my wife and my son it was a risk. But in the life you have to take a risk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you don't
Nigga
take
took
a
a
risk,
risk,
you're
got
not
that
gonna become
bread.
successful.
Came back
Right.
with that shit.
And one of the reasons like I keeps me on, it's the in the life when you have to have a goals in your life. And once you reach your goals, you have to work in your goals.
Yeah.
That's what I do. And like a lot of people, they know they don't get successful because they don't believe in themselves. I
Mm.
see I see a lot of people. They put a hard work on the job to make
Yeah.
a living,
Mm-hmm.
but once you put like a hardest work in yourself,
Hey,
you're gonna become successful.
preach, preach. Yeah, and I always,
When you work on yourself
talk about things
and
like
work
that
for
on my
yourself,
channel.
man, you're gonna be successful.
Because a lot of people see my channel as like, oh, it's a ride share. I mean, I guess it is, but it's more so mindset. Working on yourself, personal development, or as I like to say, readapting. Creating visions. Levitating. Things like that. Because this is important in life, and I like the
Y'all hear what he's saying, man. It's a mindset thing, man. Just like what Funny Marco say. You feel me? Stay consistent.
fact that you pretty much confirmed that goals are the key to your journey. I know earlier you mentioned once you first start driving part time, you'll be at the hotel, work, you shower there. Your first goal is to buy a home, right? So I'm pretty sure, bam, you did that. Then it's like another goal, So it's just you keep hitting goals, you keep setting milestones for yourself to keep you motivated, keep you disciplined, and keep you structured. So I definitely like the fact that you mentioned that because I think too many people focus on strategy, like, oh, like what's the strategy, like what times are you driving, or what kind of car are you driving, what trips are you accepting, like nah,
Yeah,
what are
very,
your
very
goals?
true.
Nigga,
I
I'm gonna
Go
give
ahead,
you
go ahead.
any
accept
details.
everything, bro. Telling you.
And also, I
Get
want to
that
mention
AR
to
up
to
there,
you,
that
especially no
acceptance
to you,
rate.
all those people follow your channel, listen to this interview. Like I say, always believe in yourself. Never give up. In 2019, I something I want to mention too. Now I can mention. I don't go too much in details because I cannot discuss them much on that. I
Hmm.
say, oh, I wanna take advantage of my skills, all my hard work. I speak three languages. I speak Portuguese, Spanish, and English.
English. Hmm.
And I say I'm gonna become a. I met a couple of federal agents in my neighborhood. We have
Uh oh.
a couple of retired federal agents,
Hmm.
and
Listen.
and I did and I passed on a GHS on CBP, Customs and Border Protection.
Hmm.
And a lot of people say you're never gonna make that, and I did.
Mm.
I made the test. I did the write and read test in June 2019,
Hmm.
and I scored 72%. You had to score 70 to pass, and I
Okay.
passed. I said, "Wow, that was a great job because there's a lot of overtime, and also it's of course a legacy job. You can work
Yeah.
anywhere in the United States."
Hmm.
So, but unfortunately, I got disqualified on medical leave because they are
Damn.
very strict. The medical team, if
Yeah.
have any details, they disqualify you. So I didn't even know I had all this loss hearing was affect me. And that time the doctor told me, oh, you might be like exposed like in a noise environment. Like kitchen is a lot of noise.
Yeah.
You say like you for sure like you're hearing like orders to getting more like gonna be hard to hear. But anyway, I got very disappointed because it took like from
Trying to understand them a
2019
little
to
better.
2022, like three, not 21, took 3 years the process. It's a long process. So the fitness tests I have to do twice. I must fail on the fitness test. And
Mm.
also I have a super clear background check. So
Hmm.
which is most important too. And I passed on everything. But on medical, they did qualify me, the medical team. But I
So he
did get
must have
disappointed. So let's get keep
disqualified,
up.
dog.
So now go
And then he
focus
went
on
to Uber
Uber,
and shit.
and which is
Back
becoming me
to
successful now.
Yeah.
Uh,
Absolutely, man. And it's like stuff like that. is like a blessing, in disguise. That's why I'm always, talking about readapting, like readapting your mindset, being ready to embrace change, because stuff like this will happen, and you got to be able to change on the drop of a dime. I want you to, go back and reflect, because a lot of people they struggle even getting to 100,000 or even close to that, but you pretty much doubled that. I want you to talk about some of like the hardships and some of like the times you struggled, and how did you overcome,
Right, the
those
riders. What type of
difficulties.
riders did you have?
Okay. Like I mentioned, you also say too, you have to be consistent and persistent. You can never give up. It's a bad days, good days, but in the end, make the end meet. You have to be consistent. You have any jobs, especially here in America, you have to put the hours on.
Yeah,
That
You're not
nigga
gonna
got
work
a
for
big ass water jug.
5 hours a day and try to make the most money.
right.
Like before was like that. I know a lot of people that used to drive only on the like surge times or the surges multiply the surge.
Yeah.
But now you have to put the hours on. And like any job here in America, you wanna make the money, you have to put the hours on.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's, like kind of like the laws of the universal laws of success, reaping, what you sow is what a lot of people refer to it as. And you really do. You have to put the hours in, especially now. So, and I was saying this before we even started the call. A lot of people, excuse me, they want maximum amount of money for as least amount of work as possible. And unfortunately, that's not,
Don't happen.
excuse me, that realistic. You want all this money and don't put in the work. And you got a guy here who's putting in, you said what, 16
16
hours,
hours
some
a day.
12 plus hours consistently, and he hasn't, given up. Why haven't you given up? Because most people do. They will focus on what they are not getting, as far as, oh, the company, they take 50, 60, 70%. They don't treat us fairly. Why did you never adopt that type of mentality or mindset?
Never like it's never, never, never. Like I say, the bad days and good days. Like since 2019, I never did less than $2,900, $2,500. I'm sorry. They're
Okay.
like these low weeks was $2,500, but no. Sometimes in the middle of the shift, like after 6 hours driving, like sometimes nothing's going on, but you have
Hmm.
to be like consistent
Yeah.
because always gonna be someone going somewhere.
Yeah.
That's why I learned a lot of drives they give up. They give up like 6 hours after 6 hours work, 8 hours work. Oh, there's nothing going on. What I have to do, what I did, and they stop to driving, and that's when we start because one of the few drivers. So you the last one is going to become the first one.
Yep.
That's going to make you successful.
Hmm.
And right now, Uber and Lyft and the ride share it's not going nowhere. I know there's been a lot of issues, but it's getting busy
I'm
and
gonna have to
busy.
invest some more
I
stock
travel
into these
all over the
niggas, bro.
world, especially when I was working in the hotel. Like
Hmm.
it's Uber everywhere, man. The world, everywhere.
Hmm.
And
See, I gotta do more than 6 hours, man. For real. If you want that pay, feel me? Like, if you do like 6 hours, you gonna get that regular paycheck shit, like 600 a week. Type, feel me? So, I'm just letting y'all know. They letting y'all know.
you, you have to be consistent. Like you cannot like
Be
give up.
consistent,
No, no.
persistent, and
I
don't give
agree
up.
with that. And a lot of people ask me, "Is it busy?" I'm like, "It's always busy." People, they never home. They have to go to appointments. They have to go to work. They have to go to the airport. They're going on vacation. So it's the opportunities out there are endless. And I like the fact that you mentioned, man, most drivers would just simply give up. But that's human nature. People they just give up because they don't have nothing that's really out there uh like motivating them, like keeping them disciplined. They don't have a why. And I know you mentioned, okay, yeah, be consistent. And I think most people would agree with that. But now the question is how? Like, how do you think people can be consistent? Like, what would force them or drive them to be consistent?
Okay, like I said, you have to set your goals.
Hmm.
Once you reach your goals, you work in your goals, and those like 12 months in a year. I don't work those 12 months. I work 7 days a week.
Hmm.
I work 7 days a week. I work 7 days a week. But for example, I know everybody likes Saturday and Sundays off.
Okay.
I, that's the most busiest day in a week. I believe everywhere.
Okay.
Saturday,
Yeah,
Sunday.
I can see that. Hmm.
I treat my Saturday and Sundays as like a vacation time.
Mm.
I go out on vacation 4 to 5 times a year.
Okay.
I have like I mentioned before in other interview, I have this vacation place in Cancun. I bought
Okay.
in a hotel, and I also travel back home to Brazil, and I go to other countries too. That's like making incentive. Like when you work too much, you have to take a break. You have to
Yeah.
do something like you're gonna give you like recharge your energy.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
I just come back from vacation 2 weeks ago. I was on vacation for 12 days, 13
Damn.
days. I just come back like like it makes you new, you renew you,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
also Ronnie, like you have to set a goal. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's better you work as a." I have experience on both sides, like work on W-2 and work on 1099.
Okay.
On the
Mm.
W-2, you have all the benefits. I know you have all benefits, but here in America, you cannot survive in your retirement
Exactly.
unless you make like $250,000 on W-2, like those presidents do, or like your doctors or those famous doctors does.
Hmm.
But at the 1099, I know the bad on 1099, if you work, you make the money. You don't work, you don't make.
Right.
But you have to, like I say, you have to set your goals. You have to invest in your money. Yeah, I invest my money in real estate.
Okay.
I I I bought a property here in Boston. A lot of people that time told me, "Oh, you say you're never gonna pay off your house," because that time uh, that time in 2015 when I bought the house was average. Like my house is a multi-family house right like in Boston by the water. That time is average was like a 400 to $450,000 a house. I I paid the house for 622 at the time plus what I have to spend to fix the house. But anyway,
Hmm.
uh, like you have to set a goals. Plus, like my family, my parents still alive. Like my father, both of they come here, spend 6 months here and go back. Like my father, he didn't like the much here because it's too cold, and also
Right.
he's a senior, like he's almost 80 years
Come on,
old.
yo.
Both cheese and my parents, like I respect more the parents.
Unfortunately, when you're making content on the internet that's positive, people they would try to find some way to be negative and try to, what about work life balance or you can't sustain that. It's all about what if or you can't, which in reality, what most people are doing is projecting their feelings onto you. And, they don't want to, see you win. I'm pretty sure since you've been in America, you've been setting goals and saying the things that you want to get into or accomplish. And 9 times out of 10, I'm pretty sure it's negative. People, oh, you can't do that, or you can't do that. And I'm pretty sure you like me. Like, man, now I have to prove you wrong because I'm not listening to you. I barely listen to people because most people they don't they speaking from their limited beliefs.
Yeah, Yeah, they call the losers. They are losers.
Right,
They
right.
wanna make you a loser too, like a
Yeah,
negative people. I never listen like negative people.
Sound like you
right.
said nigga,
I'm the
nigga.
same way, and that's why like call them losers. It's not even the fact. I don't even think it's really about money, man. It's more so about like a mindset, because you could be down bad, but if you have a plan, you're willing to put the work in, you got the mindset, and you actually know where you're going. I don't think that's a loser. I think a loser is somebody that's negative, that's lost, no plan, and they just
Yeah.
willing to put you down to try to make themselves feel better, and the hateful people, you know. And now let's dive a little bit into like the strategy because people can be like, well, 200 that's a lie. I probably don't believe it. And I'm gonna put like screenshots because like after the interview or whatever, you could send me like screenshots, some of your weekly earnings, so they could just see for themselves. But people now want to understand like, okay, if he making 200,000, I believe him. But how? Like, what times are is he driving? What kind of car is he doing? Is he doing Uber XL? Like what's the sauce? What are you doing?
Yeah, what,
Okay. All right. For let's go focus more like on full time now. Those 200,000.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So in 2018, 2019, I bought a I bought a Ford Fusion.
Okay,
I only drive American.
American car.
I don't drive it. Like I'm not. That's the most like most luxury car. It's very comfortable
hmm
and also it's very easy to maintain. I know everything's expensive now, but any mechanic can fix. Any mechanic can fix. You know what's happening last week? I'm sorry, like I was supposed to do the interview last week. You know my tail light on my car was
hmm
was off. Well, now I drive a high end like American cars. We're gonna get in there.
Okay.
So and it's the Ford Fusion was a hybrid. I bought a hybrid car,
hmm
and we spent like 18. I still spend like 18, 16 to $20 a day in gas.
hmm
On the Ford Fusion, I drove from 2019 until beginning of last year, 2023. I put like I believe it was a 363,000 miles on the car,
Mm.
and the car is still running.
hold on.
The
How
the
much you just
transmission,
say
I think,
again, bro?
was I put like I believe it was a 363,000 miles on the car,
Damn.
Mm.
and the car is still running. The transmission, I think, was perfect. The problem the car was too
It's
much
too up.
crack inside of the seats.
Oh,
It was a no, it was a
yeah,
leather
yeah.
seat. It was too cracked, and the suspension I have to replace all the suspensions. And the car was a beat up from outside.
Yeah.
And I say, oh, maybe it's time to, and I'm gonna keep spending more money in the car. And I
Yeah, yeah.
put on a marketplace on Facebook, and I sold the car like in an hour for $3,500.
Okay.
And I bought this Lincoln MKZ. Another advice I'm gonna give: learn with someone's mistakes.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
learn with
true.
your own mistakes.
That's
But
true.
Don't buy brand new cars to drive over a $60,000 car.
Wow.
Don't even do that.
I've
You're
been
gonna
said that.
be in a deep shit in the end because you're gonna put a lot of miles in the car. Oh, I say, oh, you buy a brand new car, you're gonna have like at least 100,000 miles like warranty. Of course, but in 2 years, in a year and a half, you're gonna put 100,000 miles,
Yeah,
and
for
after a
sure.
year and a half, you still have a huge payment on those cars
Yep.
plus maintenance. That's why I say a lot of drivers fail on that. 'Cause they a lot of like I say a lot of people they make the money and they spend the money. I know a couple of drivers here, my friends.
Mhm.
They make pretty good money, like almost like me, but they don't drive full time. But they fail. They say, "Oh, my car, I bought a I bought a Highlander for $62,000. I had like
Damn.
over 100,000
what?
miles in 2 years, so I still owe the car." But how much money you made those 2 years?
Right.
Like you should pay the car off and buy a used cars. Like I said, the Fusion, I paid 17,500 for the car at the time. It was like a 2 years old. It was a 2017. It was a year old, like a 33,000 miles. Another device also I do. Don't buy the cars, those off market, like off dealers, off resells. I don't call
Yeah.
dealer, resells. Because they buy those cars on an auction. Those car has a problem. Don't buy those cars. Buy on the dealer, certified car,
Yep.
like a lease return. You got a lease return because all the maintenance is doing by the dealer. They certify the car and they resell the car. I'm never gonna see a bad reviews on those dealers
Yeah.
because they have a reputation. So you you buy those lease returns. You're gonna pay half of the price for brand new, and you buy exchange warrant.
Yeah.
Get exchange warrant too, because anything goes wrong, the exchange warrant gonna cover. Like I thought I drove the Fusion for 363,000 miles, and I bought a Lincoln 2015, 2015.
Mm-hmm.
MKZ hybrid, the
Mm-hmm.
beautiful car, luxury car. I love this car. I want to buy one of this car. And I do a research too. Read the reviews now. Everything I'm gonna buy, I read the reviews now. And I see like for American cars, especially high end cars like Ford, like a Lincoln, it costs like a half of those luxury car Germany cars to keep to fix.
Yeah.
So and I got the Lincoln. So I bought the Lincoln in the beginning of last year in February. It was 75,000 miles. And another thing, check how many owners was in the car, especially Lincolns. Only like old people drive those cars.
Right. Right.
So it was one owner. So the car was 75,000 miles in 2015. The car. So I can drive this car for the next at least 2 years on Uber or maybe
Yeah.
more.
Absolutely.
And I have a lot of compliments in the car. Everybody come inside the car say, "Wow, what year is the car?" Nobody believes that 2015. I
Right.
keep it nice and clean. Anything wrong, I go fix right away.
Mm-hmm.
So I drove the car's 158,000 miles now. I put like over 80,000 miles in a year. Over a year. What is like I spend on the car? The tires, the brakes, like a hybrid car. You don't change the brakes over 120,000 miles or more.
Right.
Like the Ford Fusion, I only changed the brakes on the Fusion one time. I
Mm-hmm.
got the car with 33,000 miles, and I only replaced the brakes was over 220,000 miles.
Right.
And after
Right.
that, so I paid like a $15,400 for the Lincoln. But it was amazing because the dealer they sold me extended warranty. I remember it was like 900. All the numbers I'm gonna say, whatever who's gonna listen the interview, hear the interview, they say, "Oh, this guy's he's telling the truth. No, he's not talking bullshit." So they send me they sold me a extended warranty for $980, and I asked the salesman, I said, "But the car is almost 10 years old. They still selling like a extended warranty, like for 36,000 more miles for bumper to bumper." He said, "Yeah, okay," and I bought. And nothing came wrong in the car. Nothing. Like
Mm.
I just replaced the tires in the winter. I did the brakes, and I have those LED lights like in the back, which
Mm-hmm.
one's expense. But if you go to the dealer, I only do the oil change in the dealer. Another advice: I do the oil change in the dealer
Yep.
because once you go to the dealer, they're gonna use the top oil, like the synthetic oil, 10,000 miles, and they pass the kind of computer, and they tell you what's going on in the car or not. And I go to my personal mechanic and bring him to fix. Like I have the tail lights, like it was a whole tail lights for the Lincoln MKZ, all those Lincolns, the new has
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
140. And my mechanic, he spent like less than 30 minutes to install the lights.
Bruh.
YZ. But yeah, man, you have to definitely make a smart decision in cars from Uber, because Years ago, I made the mistake just buying a cheap car for like 2,500. Didn't do any due diligence. I ended up putting like 4,000 in maintenance, and I was like, man, I'm gonna get rid of this thing. Then I did it right. Went to a certified dealer. Got the card, and I didn't have like any issues. So a lot of people when they making purchases, especially something that involves like a car or just in general, people they want to be cheap. I get it. You want to save as much money as possible, but then sometimes if you're being too cheap, you could also be stupid, or you could go to the other extreme route where you get like you said, $50,000 or $60,000 car, and it's really not necessary because you only looking at it from the best possibilities possible. I mean, one, if you have no experience, oh, I'm about to get this car, one, you're not gonna know if you even like driving. You haven't developed the disciplines or the structure to even stay out there. But now you stuck with this car. Now you angry, and but now you feel like you have to drive because you purchased this car to drive. So now you stuck. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of people out there, like that as well. So you start off with the Fusion, bam. Then you got the Lincoln MKZ. So now you rolling in that. So is the MKZ? Are you only able to do like Uber X, and or you get like the more premium trips with Uber and Lyft, or is it only X?
Okay, so now let's go get there.
Okay.
Whether I got all the
Man,
money on
he
the
got
Uber and
all
Lyft.
geeked. He had
I had experience. I bought
plus the big got into
and
that
I
shit,
tell
man.
everyone, don't buy Infinity SUV.
Okay.
I got an Infinity as a step car, like because in New England you should get a lot of snow, but now all those
Yeah.
the weather now is being changed. Not that much snow you get anymore. In 2019, also I bought a Infinity QX60
Mm-hmm.
hybrid. Also was a hybrid, but the car was a nightmare. I think the warranty was over, and the car started having getting me a lot of issues. And I was use the car just like uh on a step car. If my Fusion brakes, I was using that car. I was driving XL,
Man, this
but
nigga.
I found out it's too much headache. It's too
Yeah.
much headache. Like it's too many people, like especially a lot of college students in Boston.
Oh
So
yeah.
they come in, like in their car with a can of beer,
Beer.
alcohol,
Yeah.
and
Drunk.
and they
Loud.
and they live there in the back. Like I got like I so many public like 5 times I got like a deactivation from Uber and Lyft. One time was someone found was a can of beer in the car and they thought it was me. It was under my seat.
Right.
Like someone like drink the beer and put on my seat and they put me on hold for 24 hours. But I was smart. I went to the was on a weekend, like it was on Friday, like 6 o'clock on a Friday. Man. All those clinicals closed because I want to go do the blood test. And I went to the police, local Boston police was a nice guy there, and he did the test with me. Say, oh, definitely no, under influence and record on my phone, and I submit to Uber. I have to protect myself. So they say,
Mm.
oh, but unfortunately,
Smart move.
by law, we have to wait 24 hours. But you don't worry, by tomorrow you're gonna be on the road again.
He
But I
went and
kept
did
driving.
that
I
shit.
was driving Lyft. That's
But
why
how
it's good
much?
to have
How
two
what Uber
apps.
even
Right.
know?
And
Right.
I drive Lyft. Uh, I only drive X. X keep you busy,
Mm-hmm.
keep you busy. They were like everybody rides Uber X or the ride at Quest X and keep you busy. The most important you have to keep your wheels running, like keep it busy all the time. Keep it
Yeah.
busy. That's what I like. Sometimes the Uber stops a little bit. Say, what's going on? Why it stop? And I turn the lift on. And I'm gonna teach you some techniques I learned on the long term with myself.
Okay.
Like driving on both. That's how I make over all this money because I'm on both platforms. So once Lyft has the good promotion, sometimes no Lyft has this crazy promotion. They send
Yeah.
those best promotion. Sometimes, not all the time. They
Right.
they do that when you're not driving. Lyft. They send you. They
The
try to put you back
promotions
in
and
the
help
road.
you out. For real.
And when it's the surge price, I see Lyft has a surge and Uber does has a surge. I turn off the Uber and keep the Lyft on. Like
Yeah.
whatever keeps me on, whatever
Yeah.
keeps me on, like beers I keep on. And like a X, I don't drive X. My Lincoln was a comfort in Uber and Lyft,
Hmm.
but they removed last September. I think they did some updates now. I think believe last
Oh
year in
yeah, yeah. I
September, the
remember
end of
hearing
the
about
summer,
that.
and they say my car doesn't qualify for comfort anymore. Which I don't care because how many comfort rides you're taking
Right.
in a day,
Exactly.
and not that much a difference.
You
And another
doing
thing
what?
too, I love is small
Exactly.
and not that much a difference. How many comfort rides you take those I believe last
Oh
year in
yeah, yeah. I
September, the
remember
end of
hearing
the
about
summer,
that.
and they say my car doesn't qualify for comfort anymore, which I don't care because how many comfort rides you're taking
Right.
in a day,
Exactly.
and not that much a difference. And another thing too, I love the small trips, man. Over here in Boston, the the cheapest the base comes on do I do the base fare like the drives like a $4.65. We
Hmm.
should be $4.05 before the upfront. You're gonna get there. We're gonna talk about the upfront fare too. Before the upfront fare was $4.05. When it came the upfront fares, we raised to 4.65 over here in Massachusetts.
Okay.
And I love those small trips because they give you tips. They gave tips like a
Yeah.
$4.65. They give like $2, $3. It become like $7, $8
Yeah.
trip.
Absolutely.
And average, like I do in 12 hours, I do like between 20, depending on the traffic, 27 to 36 trips
Yeah. That
in
sounds
a
about.
day. Average, like I did the match like at $12 a trip. I do some
You said how many
traffic,
hours?
20 hours. I do like between 20, depending on the traffic, 27 to 36 trips
Yeah. That
in
sounds
a
about.
day. Average, like I did the match like an average, like I do in 12 hours,
12 hours.
I do like between 20, depending on the traffic, 27 to 36 trips
Yeah. That
in
sounds
a
about.
day. Average, like I did the match like at $12 a trip. I do sometimes more. You see, I've been saying to
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
numbers for
Yeah.
the last couple of days. Right now,
Let's
nobody
see if
believes.
I can pull
I've
it
been
up.
doing I've been doing over
Yeah,
five
pull
hundred
them
dollars a
numbers
day.
up. That's what I've been waiting
Like
on. The numbers.
before that upcoming front, it was nice. Like on Friday, Saturday,
And
Sunday,
hours.
was over $600 a day.
Woo.
Now after upcoming front came, that's it, no more.
Damn, $600 a day. How? I'm gonna show one screenshot that you sent me. Them change focus mode, and this is in 2 days. This is 60 rides, 23 hours, 13 minutes for 897. So y'all see it?
Yeah, it's this week, huh?
897. God dang, that's
It was
almost
was a
Hold
eight.
on.
See it for days. This is 60 rides. Focus mode. And this is in 2 days. This is 60 rides, 23
60 rides. 23 hours.
hours, 13 minutes for 897.
24 hours. Though. Oh, yeah. And he said, what, 60 rides?
And this is in 2 days. This is 60 rides, 23 hours, 13 minutes for screenshot that you sent me. Them change focus mode. And this is in 2 days. This is 60 rides, 23
60 rides.
hours, 13 minutes
23 hours, 13 minutes.
for 897. So y'all
897.
see it?
yeah, it's this week, huh?
897. God dang.
He almost hit a
That's
It was
band.
a
almost
was a
23 hours,
was a
bro.
Boston Marathon this past Mondays. That's what you call like that's a kick off the
This
business
nigga.
in New England. After the
hmm
marathon, so everything's like the business start getting better. But the first quarter of the year, it's tough everywhere. But now we start the graduation, the college graduations,
hmm
and the weather's getting better now. Like more, like people go out more often and more weddings. Like
Yeah.
there's more tourists in Boston.
Yep. Yep. It's coming back, and here's Uber 10 hours 5 minutes for $206. Bam. So y'all see that?
Uber.
So just in those 2 days, that's what $1,100 in 2 days. 2 days, right? That's two
Yeah,
days. Yeah, yeah. So
2 days there, only 2 days there.
dang. So people be like, damn, how did like this 500
And
plus dollars a day? Is that safe to say that that's pretty like common? 400, $500 or more a day if you
now
do like 12 hours.
before the upfront fest, it was very very common before.
Mm-hmm.
And average in after upcoming fest came in 2022 and in August it was here in the summer 2022. Average was like 380 to
Yeah.
$450. But the hours I did over $400 hours because I know it's hard to
You're not a you're not a
like you
you're not a move and shake. Absolutely.
yeah moving the shit yeah especially last 2 hours of work like
Okay.
because I start at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 2:30, 1:30 in the afternoon, and go until 5 in the morning. But I take at least like an hour to 2 hours break.
Mm-hmm.
And like after 2 o'clock, especially in New England, all those restaurants and bars they close. Like the last call was at 1:30. Everybody had to be out like by 1:30. So and I start to get those trips outside the city because I know I'm gonna get a trip to the airport.
Yeah.
So you can sometimes I don't mind to drive like a 30 minutes away from the city because I
Mm-hmm.
know I'm gonna get another trip back to the airport.
Absolutely. So how many hours a week on average would you say you drive?
I think the max on the airport load me 84 hours and
Okay,
80.
so you'll do like 84 hours.
But some weeks when I reach my $3,500 a week, 36. Uh, right now that's the maximum I can do right now. Like I 36 to maybe some weeks I do 3,800 compared
Mm-hmm.
to the past. Like I was doing over $4,300 a week before every week
Mm.
before the upfront fair.
That nigga going
Sometimes I do
ham,
73
dog.
hours,
Okay.
This
76,
nigga is
like
going ham.
like yesterday. Yesterday I drove only 8 hours. I drive only 8 hours. I was a little tired. Sometimes your
Yeah,
body's
yeah,
too
yeah.
tired. You have to respect your body,
Oh,
man.
absolutely. Absolutely. So,
Yeah,
a lot of times when people see, if I drove like 60 plus hours, about, oh, you don't have time or you can't keep that up. Like, I listen to my body, man. Like, if I'm tired,
yeah,
my body aching, I'll just, take a break and get out there. The reason why I ask, about the hours is for a couple reasons. One, so people can see like the work, the discipline. Like if you want to reach, these numbers or get close to it, this the type of hours you have to put in, especially if you're in Boston, because people probably from Boston going to be watching this. Maybe hopefully they'll be inspired and not hate, because you're like, okay, this is some of the earnings that you could potentially make. And another reason why I ask that question is because I'm always preaching, look, do 84 hours. Oh man, that's too many hours. You telling and some of these other content creators, they'll hey, like, oh, you telling people to drive 84 hours? I'm like, yeah, I am. How else would they learn their market? If they're not out driving and you're making content telling them to not drive or do a certain amount of hours, they don't gain anything. They don't really learn and understand.
Right.
Because even you mentioned it's like if you had a certain area, you know that you're gonna get an airport ride. Why? Because you have the experience. Well, go ahead.
Like like you mentioned in the past about a lot of drivers fails. Like I said, I think the most common fails they buy an expensive car and they after realize they say, "Oh, Uber's not money." Of course, it's not money. You being must like waste the money something and not paying your car off. And another advice I give, like you have to be very respectful about your riders. Like don't let like the traffic or some personal issues or have a life. Everybody has a personal issues. Everybody has a problem.
Yeah,
Like once you come into work, like be focused, be respectful.
yeah,
Because wherever you're driving, the passenger, this passenger is going to work. He's going to work. He's gonna help another person. So make it your day nice and make it their passenger like better, best. Some people like they hate, oh, that's so short trip, or the Uber takes like more than half on the trip. But if you see, I don't know, very, very great, like I'm not like a economist, like the numbers.
right,
But if
right.
when you see in the end of the year, 1099, it's like average like 36%, right? The Uber takes, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Uber and Lyft takes 36%, I believe.
Okay, yeah, possibly. I don't really go into too much detail that because I think too many people spend
Yeah,
way too much time focusing on that. It's like, damn, that's your major concern. It's like, okay, if that is your concern, that's totally fine. But what are you going to do about it? Because if you still driving, you haven't came up with any solutions besides gripes and complaints. It really doesn't do you any good. It's really a waste of mental energy. And not only that, I truly believe it puts most drivers in like a negative mind state because once they sign online, they're already thinking negatively. They thinking about, oh well, $4, I'm not doing this, or look how much money that they take. And it's
Right.
like, damn, man, you just not
it,
happy.
it, it only listen that my my last vacation I was with my son at the Disney on Thanksgiving. Talk, you listen, you have to agree everything that they say. Oh yeah, it's okay, okay. So then the trip they drunk. Every drunk people do that. You say, oh yeah, it's like when you wanna they wanna talk. They get
Okay,
to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
especially the drunk guys. Like when you wanna Thanksgiving weekend.
Hmm.
I know, like I get a lot of tips cash. I get
Okay,
a
yeah,
lot,
yeah, yeah.
especially the drunk guys. Like when they wanna talk, you listen, you have to agree everything that they say. Oh yeah, it's okay, okay. So then the trip they drunk. Every drunk people do that. Even me when I drink when I go on vacation, I do that. So they take like $40, $60 and give you
Oh
here.
man,
Oh, that's
yep,
it.
yep.
And another thing too, I always complain. Like I complain, like mention to the rider. Oh, the Uber takes the most of the money. Like I know you've been like rip
That's a
off.
good strategy.
You being ripped off, like the Uber, like being ripping off those riders takes a lot of money for the riders and takes
Hmm.
less money for us. Pay us less money. I'm thinking, pay us less. Sometimes it's like 70% they take. And some riders say, "Wow, why you keep doing drive Uber?" So, unfortunately, that's the only job like you can keep you paying the bills. It's been
Yeah.
tough right now for everybody. Never tell. One time I took a ride. He told me, "Oh, I got this driver." He told me he was making like a $3,000 a week. Is that true? And I say, I don't know. Maybe something wrong he's doing. Because I don't want to tell. I don't want to tell the. I don't want to tell the riders I make $3,000 over $3,000 a week.
Right, right.
Like I was mentioned, like I was on vacation in November. I already had some cash. Because usually the cash I get, I bring to my vacation to tip to give the as a tip.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
on vacation now. I was on vacation now in Brazil for 13 days.
Damn.
I got surprised because I had all the money like on my car here, and I took out the dollar bills, $10, 20, and it was like almost $900
Damn.
just like in cash tips. And I brought the money there, and I was put for I did give it all for tips because the money there, the currency is like five
Yeah,
times
yeah.
over.
Hmm.
But believe it or not, you can get surprised like how much money you can make. Not every week, like in a month, in a couple of months, like in cash and tips you make. Like
Right.
some week, I don't do like last week. I remember the guy gave me like a. I still have it in my car. He gave me like a $4, like a $2. I have it here, like a $2.
Two
Like, oh,
$2 bills.
Two
That's
dollar
what you're
bill
trying to say.
yeah, it's hard. It's hard to see the money, man.
All right, bro.
gave me this lady. She gave me $2 bills, and I still have
See, I have like a $5, a couple dollars here, and I have this,
them.
Look, he trying to show it off.
and I
He
got this
trying to.
$20. It was a junkie guy gave me the I think 2 days ago, and he was talking. I was listening to him. He said yes,
His
yes,
ass eating.
and then he took $20 and gave me.
Yeah, all right, not too shabby. All right, well, a couple more questions. As we start, winding down the challenge and my content.
Well, like your show is very interesting. Like I say, I like good stuff, man. I like something like we have to life, life is a school. Every day, every month, you learn something new in your life.
Yeah,
Like I listen when I drive late night and to get me up. Like I hear those broadcasts, and I
Mhm.
follow your show, and it's all about 2 racks a week. And I start to listen to those interviews. Like it was nice because those drivers are all over the United States,
yeah,
all over, like Arizona, from Florida, even like I know Arizona, Texas right now, in Florida, one of those worst markets, but still people there like reach like a 2 racks like they are a
yeah,
week,
yeah.
like which job, man? Which job then in America you gonna guarantee you like 2K a week, especially like
Exactly.
in Texas or Florida, like even those people has a college degree, like they maybe they can make that, but they still have the college to pay.
Right,
Like I say,
right.
if you put yeah, like you once you put the hours like working, you will get your rewards. Um, like I say, your show. I follow the show and I start to follow you. So very interesting. It's the show is very like yeah, incentive. Like, it's a very incentive. It's a lot of
Knowledge game and shit.
there's a lot of honor on the show. Like
Positive shit.
it gives incentive for the other people who's watching. Because
Yeah,
I've been making since I worked there, started working Uber like in 2019 full time. I've been making more than that. It's kind of
yeah,
like
yeah.
inspiration, like an inspiration. Like you see
Appreciate that.
everybody makes, and I like this your idea. You give a lot of great advice. I like that. It's very something different,
Yeah.
something new, different. Is very interesting.
Thank you,
It's like
man.
a challenge, like a challenge. I and for sure who watch your interviews, if they never reach like 2 racks a week, for sure they're gonna reach.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I appreciate that. And that's exactly what it really is a challenge. But the 2 racks
It's
a
a
week is pretty much a
motivation
result
too.
of the true challenge, which is you challenging yourself, your own old beliefs. Uh, you getting outside of your comfort zone, putting the work in. Because prior to you driving, you was used to working overtimes, doubles, 16-hour shifts.
Okay, show the other
A lot
money,
of
cause that
times,
wasn't two
people they
racks.
not used to
Y'all
that.
showed
They'll work
that was
anywhere
only
from 30,
damn.
maybe 50 hours. Then they transition in this. Now they have to learn how to be self-reliant. And they struggle with that. And it also could be so confusing
Snacks.
because there's so much negative content out there. People talking bad about the apps, talking shit. So it could be kind of confusing. So I just like, man, look, 2 racks a week, man. That's what we doing. Who gonna be the first person that people start reaching out? And I'm like, oh dang, I didn't even know this was possible in this market. Like now I'm interviewing you, like, 200,000. I didn't even know that was possible. And like, dang, that's crazy. And you said, Boston is the best market. I mean, shit, obviously it is. Until somebody else, I interview somebody else, and unless they making the same, or if not more. But as of right now, shit,
I might have
you
to
are
drive to Boston.
the number one highest grossing
Because
driver.
everyone, I believe like in Massachusetts, you know, it's a century state. Is
Mhm.
it's it's very like the laws here is very straight, man. Like nobody mess with the laws. If you mess the law here, you pay for.
Yeah.
But over here in Massachusetts, man, you like I work in a like I say work in those legacy hotels before.
Hmm.
Was a dream for me in that time to get a job in those hotels, and I got. Took me in that time. It took me 3 months for to get a job after the first interview. I remember it was like 5 interviews I did. They have to go like check a background check. They want to
Yeah.
make sure like you're gonna bring someone to the company. Someone is gonna be respectful.
Right.
And same as in Uber too. Like you have like a 2 background checks. I think it's the only state
I
who
think
does
some
that.
niggas still be
Oh,
dropping
really?
food
Okay.
And
off
on
though.
and on top of the background check, you have a certification. They state you call the DPU who are in charge of that. They give you a license every 6 months. You have to renew. I think every 6 months I have to renew this license.
Wow.
If you don't pass on the background check, you're not gonna get the license, like a special certificate, not license, a certification from
Hmm.
DPU. Uh, a lot I see. I know because I know I have some friends. They get suspended from the Uber. Now they back again on the right channel. Like if you have like a bunch of tickets, you don't pay for the tickets for sure. Like on they state sooner or later they're gonna block you.
Right.
Or if we have like we have like the Easy Pass over here in Boston, we have a lot of you have like a tunnels, a lot of tolls. If you don't pay your like a lot of mistakes Ubers do too. The red share driver does. They they don't they don't put the automatic payment on the Easy Pass. They
Yeah.
don't put and let raise and they go there pay the minimum and they pay the minimum.
Yep.
So and there has like has a an interest on top of that if they
Yeah.
don't pay the full. It's like a credit card. It's gonna
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
worse
Yeah.
and worse and worse. Like on mine, is everything's automatic. It goes on my credit cards. Everything's I pay. I pay. It's impossible if you don't pay on time. Call the money you're making.
Yeah.
But that's on the mistakes they do. And over here, I think I think I believe so in Massachusetts. They very they very tough about especially on ride share, all those background check, all the like details. I
Hmm.
know I have like a friend. He for some reason I don't know why his Uber put his account on hold for almost 3 months because he
Damn.
got a speeding ticket. It was his first speeding ticket, and I told him that time you should fight for the ticket. You should go to the court because I got 3 tickets, speeding
Hmm.
tickets in 1 year. But it was like called a race profile. Was in the town where I live. Was this asshole police officer? He must have some issues with his personal life.
Yeah.
It was like a racial profile, and I proved that. And I went to the court and I won those 3 tickets, those speeding tickets. Like sometimes you can get those like those SO officers, man, they can mess you up.
Hmm.
But no, all those, all of them. I say
Yeah.
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 I know
Sometimes.
sometimes, I know sometimes. The last time they catch me on. That's why you had to be like very like a very careful driving Uber.
Yeah.
I got the trip like it was taking me like 20 minutes away from Boston. Like another thing to do when you're away from Boston, like the surge time between like 10 o'clock in the night until 2 in the morning. That's the
Hmm.
best time to drive in Boston. Once I come back to
You said
Boston,
what time?
best time, surge time between like from Boston. Like another thing to do when you're away from Boston, like the surge time between like 10 o'clock in the night until 2 in the morning. That's the
Hmm.
best time to drive in Boston. Once I come back to Boston, once I reach the highway, I was like, I remember I put 84 miles on the car. Once I put 84 miles, because I have my GPS on the car, on the ways, and pop ups always a police officer in 2 miles. And I reduced, but he ought to catch me. He ought to catch me on the clock, on the
Hmm.
gun clock. And as soon as I passed him, he pulled me over. But he was a nice officer. He was a state trooper, a young guy. And I say, "Oh, I apologize. I know I was speeding, and I want to go back to Boston because it's a surge time, kind of late night. Apologize." And he said, "Well, I'm gonna let you go there, but please, I know you're working. You do this
Yeah.
for life. Like, don't try to mess up you because if once you catch on speeding, you're gonna mess up your life." I say, "Apologize." and he let me go. And
Yeah,
that was the last time I got to pull over.
yeah. Shout out to him, man, because I've been put over a few times, not many, but a few
Mm.
times. And most time, they'll let you go. But yeah, I like to hear that people are reasonable and are compassionate. A couple more questions, man. Like, why do you think this 2 racks a week challenge is so important?
Important.